Hey guys, in today's video we'll be going over the top 5 Van Damme characters. I believe one of the reasons why Van Damme is so popular is because of the characters he's portrayed, but that goes with any actor. Of course, we all know they're portraying a character in a movie, but it's often easy to blur the lines, especially for a young impressionable mind, which is when most of us probably seen these films for the first time. Because we like the characters so much, a lot of that like ends up transferring over to the real man himself. If you're a fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme, by the way, make sure to subscribe to this channel, but if you're a fan of the 80s and 90s in general, primarily action and martial arts, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, join our club, we're making the 80s and 90s great again. Make sure to like this video to help support the channel, and make sure to stay until the end, because I'm going to go over another round of the good, the bad, and the ugly. One good, one bad, one ugly comment I recently come across, and I'm going to comment on the comments. It's always a good time. Number 5 on the list, Christopher Dubois from The Quest. He's got a sympathetic backstory, orphaned at a young age.
Your mother's health isn't improving and her money's gone. I rather doubt she'll be coming.
He's since become sort of a mentor and leader for other orphan children. Although he's technically a thief, at least he's stealing from criminals rather than the common hardworking man who makes an honest living.
Did you get it?
Though it's a lot more dangerous to steal from a criminal, and he does end up putting those orphans' lives in danger as well as his own. Because of this, he's left dealing with karma and ends up getting sold off into slavery on Muay Thai Island. The Quest is really a story of redemption, which is often what audiences want to see. They want to go on that ride and experience some type of positive change that takes place in the hero and vicariously live through that, which gives them hope that they too can somehow, someday redeem themselves from some past event.
Take me home. And take care of Billy and Red. The kids.
At the beginning of the Quest, money represents power and respect.
We're rich! With this, we buy respect. If we want something, we take it.
By the end of the film, Christopher Dubois sacrifices a golden dragon in order to free the two men that screwed him over earlier in the movie.
Let it be known that the price for such betrayal is death.
What a mess. No! I will pay for their freedom. I brought them here. It's my fault. If I win, they'll go free. You'll keep the dragon.
They had a deal.
You gonna split the prize with them?
We have a deal.
So do we.
And over the course of the competition, honor ended up becoming more important to Christopher Dubois than greed.
Tomorrow you are throwing the fight. But that dragon is so bloody enormous. If we're going to lift it out of here, we need you healthy.
He did make a promise to someday come back and help out the orphan kids he left behind.
Red, you're in charge now. No matter what happens, I'll come back. I swear to God, I'll come back.
And it's assumed he came back not with money, but rather with knowledge and wisdom that would end up helping out those kids much more in the long run, as opposed to just giving them some handout as if he were to cash out that dragon.
Made of solid gold.
Oh, and on a more basic level, let's not forget, he's very good at what he does. The audience always respects great skill. Make sure to watch my breakdown on The Quest, which I'll link in the description below. Also, if you're curious on who all those real-world martial artists were from The Quest, I did a video breaking that down as well, also linked in the description below. Number 4 on the list is Sam Gillen from Nowhere to Run. Another great story of redemption. Like Christopher Dubois in The Quest, Sam Gillen in Nowhere to Run starts out as a thief, in this one a bank robber. He becomes an escaped convict after his friend and fellow bank robber helps him escape. His pal Billy is actually the one that botched the robbery that resulted in killing a security guard that Sam ended up taking the fall for, hence why he was in prison.
It should have been me in jail, not you. It should have been me. Do you forgive me?
In Nowhere to Run, Billy even gets to end up redeeming himself just before getting killed off early in the film.
I forgive you, Billy.
Couldn't have that hanging over me for the rest of my life.
Now Sam, the escaped convict, has no plans other than to lay low, a goal that is only worthwhile to himself from a selfish standpoint. But as the story plays out, he gets involved with a widow and her 2 children, and by the end of the film he becomes a hero to not only them, but a whole community of farmers, saving them from a crooked real estate developer.
Leave him alone.
In other words, he finds a real meaningful purpose that transcends himself and his selfish pursuit of taking his chance to escape back to Canada, money in hand, and live as an otherwise free man. However, his act of selflessness comes to the fore, and he ends up sacrificing his own freedom in order to ensure life will be better for others. Nowhere to Run was a film where Van Damme tried to transition into being something more than just the action karate guy, and I thought he had a real good chance at that, but let's face it, that's not exactly what his audience at the time wanted to see. We really just wanted to see more ass kicking from the muscles from Brussels. Make sure to check out my full breakdown of Nowhere to Run, by the way. I'll link it in the description below. Number 3 on the list is Chad from Double Impact, though a special shout out has to go out to Alex. What I really like about Alex is just the level of badassery this man possesses, his take no crap attitude. Alex's rough exterior was certainly formed from his past, growing up an orphan on the tough streets of Hong Kong, which he still harbors resentment over.
Who was there for me? I was on the street alone, huh? Nobody helped me.
But I really can't get behind the fact that he did his girlfriend. Not that I would ever justify it, but the fact that he thought she cheated on him was a pretty reprehensible offense, only it didn't happen. But at least it did lead to a great fight against Chad. We got to witness Van Damme fighting his equal, meeting his match, Van Damme. As far as Chad goes, he's certainly the optimist of the group, having grown up in a much nicer climate in Southern California with who he thought was his uncle, Frank, a man who at least raised him with the love and support a child needs.
I raised you ever since you were 6 months old. I brought you up like you were my own kid.
Double Impact in many ways heavily leans towards the nurture side of the nature versus nurture debate, especially due to the fact that Chad and Alex are identical twins. You gotta respect Chad's fashion sense, not so much in the sense that he dressed the way you'd want to, but rather due to the fact that he's clearly comfortable in his own skin and outfits of choice.
What's wrong?
Outside of the time he wore the blue spandex to the karate class, of course.
Take over the karate class.
Like this?
I'd say what I like most about Chad, and this transfers over to Van Damme himself in real life, are two things. One, his love of life. He's just the type of guy you'd want to hang out with because he's happy, he almost always seems to be in a good mood, and that sort of positive energy will rub off on you. Being liked by others is certainly a character trait the audience can get behind.
Very nice.
Thank you.
And two, he just has so much fun with karate. He makes it look fun. Of course, there's a serious self-defense element to any form of martial art, which many of us who train may never end up actually using in real life, as a part of the training is awareness and learning how to avoid certain situations whenever possible. For example, in my own Krav Maga training, which on the spectrum of martial arts, I'd pretty much say leans the furthest towards actual pure self-defense, the instructors always advocate the Nike defense, meaning just leave the scene if possible because you never know if there are multiple assailants and they very likely can have a gun, etc. Real life isn't a movie. We're not Bruce Leroy.
I am sick of hearing these bullshit Superman stories about the Wassa legendary Bruce Leroy catching bullets with his teeth.
There are also possible legal ramifications. Of course, there may be a point where you have no choice but to stand your ground, and if that ever occurs, at least on the street where there is no honor, then you need to immediately flip the switch like Stallone turning his hat over and over the top, immediately go into a state of being uncivilized, but I digress. I'll delve deeper into that whole thing in a future video on martial arts in general, but going back to Chad, I don't think any character in film better showcases a fun and joy aspect that martial arts training can bring. Make sure to check out my breakdown of this classic film if you haven't seen it. I'll link it in the description below. I also have another video where I talk about the potential sequel Van Damme actually wanted to make for a long time. I don't know if it'll ever get made, but that's another video I made. Put all the details in, and who knows, if we get lucky, we'll actually see a triple impact someday. Number 2 on the list is Chance Boudreaux from Hard Target.
What kind of a name is Chance?
Well, my mama took one.
So delving into Chance's backstory, we immediately find out he's a man of honor. He lives by a strict code, a code that is more important to him than his own livelihood.
Silver Star, Marine Force Recon.
He joined the merchant service after he got out. His captain was smuggling opium. When Boudreaux found out, he threw the man overboard. He's been looking for work ever since.
He may have screwed himself out of employment opportunities, but at least he's clearly a man who can look himself in the mirror and be proud of what he sees. Well, maybe minus the haircut. Haircut aside, Chance certainly has a coolness factor down in spades. We first get a glimpse of his skills in what pretty much comes across as a showdown in a Western film, only it's done in a contemporary setting. He's calm, smooth, under control, cracking subtle jokes while being direct.
Now take your big stick and your boyfriend and find a bus to catch.
In my opinion, he's pretty much the peak of what an action hero can be. So Hard Target came out in 1993. The 80s and 90s were the era of the greatest action movies of all time. Van Damme himself was at the top of his career. The film was directed by John Woo, a highly acclaimed stylish action director from Hong Kong who was finally given a large budget on a US studio production. The movie had all the ingredients. Van Damme perfectly mixed the karate skills with gunplay, the best showcase of the so-called gun fu ever shown on film. As badass as the character is, he was still vulnerable enough to take his licks and wounds without us, the audience, thinking anything less of him.
What did you arrest me for? Getting beat up without a license?
When recruited to help Yancey Butler's character, he's not trying to take advantage or profit in any way. He simply wants just enough to pay his dues in order to ship out and make an honest living.
You owe some dues here, boy. $217.
Okay, I changed my mind. I'll help you for 2 days. You'll pay me $217.
His act of selflessness becomes even more selfless after realizing what he gets involved with.
Be careful. Without you, I'm hunting them.
It's not only about survival and being a hard target. Instead, he's motivated to take down this criminal enterprise once and for all. There's a level of revenge here he needs to see to the end, because again, he's a man that lives by a strict code.
Season is over.
Make sure to check out the video I did breaking down Hard Target. It's part of a series I did of when Van Damme worked with Hong Kong film directors. There were 4 films in total there. Alright, number 1 on the list, Leon from Lionheart.
Yeah, Gaultier, that's me.
Leon went AWOL from his French Foreign Legion in order to see his brother, who's in the ICU, unfortunately, but by the time he got to the hospital his brother was at, he finds out it's too late. Leon is the most selfless man on this list. He's even a little naive.
I'm gonna take you away from this shitty business. You and my family. Even Cynthia, if she wants to.
He wants nothing more than to help out his brother's struggling family, and so begins participating in underground street fights in order to make money. He's pure, he's honest, he doesn't succumb to temptation as he knows it'll only complicate matters.
Cynthia, I'm not your toy. You want a toy to play with, Dr. Russell.
Underground fight films were pretty popular at the time Lionheart was released. Of course, Bloodsport comes to mind. There were knockoffs to just that one alone, Bloodfight for example. There were also similar films showcasing weapons and fights to the death, such as Shoot Fighter, Shoot Fighter 2 and American Samurai, even higher budget ones that took place in Las Vegas. Best of the Best 2 quickly comes to mind. But Lionheart is the one, in my opinion, that truly stands the test of time.
He is the one.
Not only did it have great fight scenes, but what really made it special and memorable was the character himself, which is why I give Leon the #1 rank. The man is all heart. He's self-aware of his shortcomings and weaknesses. He's got a sympathetic backstory.
He was not enough strong to be in jail. It would have killed him.
The streets that you left him on are what killed him.
No.
He's of course very good at what he does, and he's just plain nice. I mean, how could you not like this man? How could you not root for this man? Make sure to check out the video I did breaking down Lionheart. I also did a video breaking down all the fighters from Lionheart and have another video about the potential sequel. Like I said, if you're a fan of Van Damme, you have to subscribe to this channel. Alright, so now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so the good comment comes from Bootneck Baz. This is from the Rocky IV diet training physique video that I did. He said, Rocky IV inspired me to join the Royal Marines. Well, I think that's awesome. Rocky IV, or Stallone in general, has inspired so many of us. And that's why these are more than movies. They're more than entertainment. They've actually impacted our lives in a lot of positive ways. So I like comments like that. It's really cool. Okay, so the bad comment was from my Seagull mocked by Charlize Theron video when she basically talked crap about him. This is from Loki Asgrimerson. He said, "Is this satire? I'm confused." I replied, "A lot of people are." I'm not even sure anymore. This video kind of took on a life of its own, especially after the YouTube algorithm picked it up months after I posted it, so it's been getting a lot more comments. I rewatched it myself, and I could see why somebody might be confused. I kind of liken it to tweets that Elon Musk does about Dogecoin. Like, I don't really know if he's serious or not. I don't know if he's trolling, but it's pretty funny. So I'll chalk this video in that category, but long viewers would know I do respect Steven Seagal. I do appreciate his martial arts. This video, if you're a first-time viewer, I could see how it's confusing because I do put in some of my own jokes, but I think the message in the end is one of respect. Alright, so the ugly comment comes from my top 10 Jean-Claude Van Damme facts. If you haven't seen that video, by the way, it's pretty cool facts in there. I'll link in the description below. But anyway, Deacon Flynn said, God, that t-shirt is horrible to look at. Jeez, bro. Cringe. Hey, look, Deacon, I'm wearing the same shirt just for you, buddy. But in all seriousness, some people get really offended and have such a great dislike for tighter shirts. I like more form-fitting shirts. This is more of a workout shirt. I feel good in it. I think I look good in it. So I'm going to keep doing my thing. And, you know, some guys like to wear baggy shirts. Do your thing. I don't really give a crap, and you shouldn't give a crap if I wear a tighter shirt. Now, if there's a valid complaint, like if I drop the meatball on it and there's a big stain on it, sure, point that out. But otherwise, you know, leave my shirt alone. Oh, this is funny, by the way, because I was talking to a guy in the gym the other day, and he's like, oh, I need to fill out my shirts more like you. And I was kind of giving him some workout tips, and I said, you know what you could always do? Just buy a smaller shirt. It works for me. Alright, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to like it, make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed, and make sure to share this video with your friends who are fans of Jean-Claude Van Damme.